Welcome to my CrossYoga channel. This is a just yoga video, so just movements, breath, and if you're a person that pray and meditate, you might do that after moving a little bit because it tends to quiet the mind and maybe make your body more at ease to sit still and focus. So I'd like to invite you to start standing today with your feet firmly on the mat. Mountain pose with your palms facing forward. Shoulders tucked slightly back and standing tall. Then you can close your eyes. And maybe you inhale. And sigh out. Do that a few times if it feels helpful. I often sigh out tiredness and stress and worries and all that. All that I want to let go and put on pause as I move on the mat. And then you can breathe more slowly, more deeply, in and out through your nose if possible. We want to take a few moments to breathe before we start moving. Maybe to notice where the mind is wandering off to, or maybe just to notice if we can breathe more slowly, more deeply, so that when we start moving, we can continue with that kind of breath instead of going with the just superficial light breathing that we tend to do if we're maybe a little bit stressed or not aware of our body. And then you can slowly move your hip from side to side and maybe even your shoulders. Think of yourself almost like you're standing in water, waving from side to side. Make sure you soften your knees and smile if you feel a little bit silly, moving through a soft side stretch. And you can even go for a small twist standing. And if you're still twisting, you can take your arm. If you're twisting to your left, or your right side, you can take your left arm and move like this. Now go for what feels good. And slow down. Make movements into your shoulder girdle. Into your spine. And one more to each side. And then you can widen your distance. Now you might be standing on the other edge of the mat, so you might step your feet out on that side of the mat. That's fine. Just want to keep some distance in between the knees and then come down here, softly stretch and bend one knee at a time. Now you can either stay up here with your head over your heart if that's better for your head not coming all the way down, but you can also come down, and at this time I have my feet pointing out slightly. With the hands down, I can close my eyes. There is no balance. I can walk from side to side. And then come lower with your knees. Maybe you take your hands off, finding squat posture. And again, you can kind of move a little bit from side to side. I have my hands here on my thighs. Opening up the hip. All right, stand up tall. And this time I have my feet aligned with the short end of the mat. Again, you might have with the long end. I just want to face you. And take your hands up over your head, palms together. And then lean from to side bend. We're going to do small pulsation. And you might think, why that? But it's good for your core. And it can also be good for your breath. So we're going to do like this kind of breath of fire, it's called. So we're going to go, all right, from side to side like that. So you have this exhale through your nose that's kind of powerful. And you make sure you inhale as well, because we don't want to hyperventilate, okay? And if it's too much with your hands over your head, just take your hands behind your head. And I'm not coming out that far. If you feel dizzy, of course, you can stop. Just go for a little bit more. And soften and fold forward. A little bit of an untraditional warm-up. Now you can walk your hand to the top of the mat where you most easily can watch the screen, and then step your feet back and find the first down dog of today. Now after all these movements with the spine, it might be really nice to bend the knee and stretch out that spine. And then move into plank. Gaze in front of your hands, tuck the shoulders into the girdle, soften your knees, your thighs, and then back into down dog. 2 more times. Into plank. Knuckles down, fingers down. Make sure your fingers are pointing, or the middle finger often are pointed forward. And elbows bended, moving back to down dog. Let's do that just one more time. Plank. And you might pause here and take a breath or two. And down dog. And your heels grow heavy towards the mat. Still might bending the knees though. Your heels can still grow really long towards the mat with your knees bended. No need to hyperextend the knees. Walk your feet to the top end of the mat. Still hip width distance, somewhat hip width distance, and then mountain pose. Take your right knee up, and maybe you hug your knee in towards the chest as much as possible. And see if you can keep your knee bended, keep it where it is, and then you take your hands behind you, grasp the arms, keep the shoulders tight, bit of balance. And maybe you keep your arms where they are, but take that right leg back, lean forward, finding a variation of Warrior 3 with your arms tucked firmly back towards the back heel. Breathing, staying long in your spine, the back of the head towards the heel. Let go of the hands, fingers tips down the floor, lower down the right leg, pivoted around, Warrior 2. Heels somewhat aligned. And create some length From the front foot to the back foot, and from fingertip to fingertip. But soften your elbows. And maybe this time, let's just look back for a little bit of a neck stretch. Typically, we look to the front hand, but let's look back. Spread out the toes as you take a few more breaths. Gaze still towards the back hand. And then you can take the nose towards the front hand again. Windmill the arms around. Take the back heel off. And then you can take the back knee and lower it down on the back, right knee behind left. Tuck the knees around, and then you might want to come down to a seat, a kind of a cow face, seated knees somewhat across on top of each other. Leaning forward, we're not going to stay here forever. If you can't do this, just a simple seated and leaning forward so you feel something in the outer edge of your thighs. When you feel tension release in your thighs or your glutes, you might lean even more forward. One more breath here. Lifting up the top leg, which is left, move it around all the way back. Coming into a side plank variation, so left leg behind, right knee down, right hand down, all stacked or aligned, I should say. Reach the arm up overhead and then take it behind you. Now you can either look up and look back or go for the gaze down, whatever suits you. But we want to open up the chest a little bit with this hand behind me. I'm taking my fingers behind my buttocks here. One more breath. And then release both hands down, placing them where you would in downward facing dog. You slowly turn on the mat. Right knee stays down, left foot back. And then you lift right leg all the way up and back into three-legged dog. And you might just want to bend the knee and see if you can actually get the knee higher just a little bit. Not opening up the hip. Just want to tease you a little bit with different strategies or different postures that we might normally do. All right. Take the right knee, still bend it underneath your belly, step it to the top of the mat, to the left foot follow along. Fold forward. This is your pause. Mountain pose. All these beautiful postures on the other side. So find that solid foothold on your right leg. You're going to hug in left knee if we can find any sort of balance. First, we'll hug with our hands. So here the hip flexor is not doing a whole lot, but when we let go, try to keep it, the hip flexor should be turned on. Again, you grasp the hand, fold the hands behind you, tuck the shoulder blades back. And if you feel comfortable, take the left leg behind you, keep micro bending the elbows instead of hyperextending them. It's super easy to hyperextend when you do things like this. So I have my feet or the foot pointing down on my left leg. I try to stay really elongated through my spine, my neck, both legs. And slowly release your hands, take your fingers down, land that left foot behind you, turn it around, shorter, wider distance. Warrior two. Reach the arms out, as we did before. You might want to check in, micro bending the back knee, stacking the front knee over the ankle. They tend to drop in. So want to keep it on that knee there. And let's, look back. And see if you can keep your neck and your spine straight. You're not looking back like this, or your spine is going in some odd direction. Tall spine. And keep tucking the back edge of the back foot down. You might take a look to see if what you think is happening is actually happening. And then slowly look to the front. You can always yawn or sigh out or whatever. If you're doing this at home, feel free. Nobody's watching. All right. Windmill the arms around. I take the back knee off. Lower down. Left knee. I'm going to tuck it a little bit in. Bending it. Sit my hip down. So this time my left knee is at the bottom. My right knee is on top. If you were cross-legged before, you would probably tend to sit in the easy way. Now try to do the awkward way, opposite way around. Just to get your body out of what it normally tends to do. It's always good when we have that extra energy to sometimes break routines and rhythms that we have made too solid. That might make our practice a little bit boring, to be honest, or just a little bit too easy. And again, you're welcome to lean further forward if you feel okay in your knees. Coming back, see if we can make our way out of this one. So the right leg that's on top, you're going to take that right leg all the way to the back of the mat. And then left leg is probably somewhere at the middle. Left hand, left leg, right foot down, and come into the supported side plank. And before I took the top arm behind me, kind of wrapped it around myself. Either looking up, maybe dropping the head down, looking up, or looking down, whatever is great for your neck right now. Lift the hip a little bit up for that sensation of a side stretch a little bit. let go. Both hands down. Softly transition. Nose towards the top end of the mat. Fingers down. Right foot is really firmly down. And then I take my time lifting up so that left leg comes up and back, three-legged dog. And then we did a bend in the knee without opening the hip. So I just really try to lift the knee quite a lot, as much as I can, and take the heel towards the buttocks. And stay put for a few breaths. All right, downward facing dog, and you can shake anything right now. Child's pose, and this will be where we almost finish our time together. I'll invite you to take your hands down by your side just to soften the elbows a little bit and the shoulders and everything. Maybe you massage your head, your forehead, your eyebrows. And then come into a seat. Now this would probably be the best time to meditate or anything that you prefer. I'll just invite you to sit still with me just for 1 minute. But if you want to sit more, just pause the screen or whatever, replay it without any noise on maybe. But just soften your face, strong core and tall spine, hands resting on your thighs. Either count on your breath, inhale and exhale, or maybe have an affirmation or a scripture that you repeat on your breath. And I'll be quiet for just 1 minute. And then I'll finish our time together, but please stay still if you want to do more. Probably now is the best time ever. So take 5 more minutes if you're up for it. From my heart to yours, thank you so much. Blessings on your path.